Mrs. Blossom. So, as you could see from the title, I have another review for you, this time the Raven's Wand Oracle. This deck is by Stephen Hutton, and it's a little bit of a very special deck in my eyes. So first I show you the box. It comes in, so the cards and the guidebook fits in beautifully. It's a very nice box. I really like this box. It's like the first oracle or a tarot deck where I think, oh, I don't actually need a bag, because I really think it's a great box. Now, where do I begin? Well, the reason why I think this is a very special book, this oracle is based on a book, on a fantasy book by Stephen Hutton. It's a series and they are called The Dark Raven Chronicles, and the novel is Raven's Wand, the first one. So this story is set in the 19th century Victorian Britain, and the story centers on this mysterious wand, the Raven's Wand, and Valonia, its keeper. Valonia is a sage old witch who governs her idyllic coven, Wild Wood, in the hills of northern England, hidden from their enemies, the Illuminata knighthood. As he wrote this series, he was inspired to paint witchcraft in its best light, as wise yet humble and profound yet practical. He writes in the guidebook, right? And he also writes that it's not necessary for you to read the book series, but you can work with the oracle without knowing it. But I am currently reading it. I found it on, I don't know if that is something that is that people like, but I do have Kindle Unlimited. I'm very grateful at this time for it because I have a lot of time to read. And so I found it there, and that's how I came across this oracle, right? And I really enjoy the book. I'm not done yet, but what I've read so far I really enjoy. And as you go then through the oracle, of course, you meet many characters from the book and the situations, and so he writes in the guidebook a bit about that. And what he also writes, what we can see here, is he writes, as you work with Raven's Wand Oracle, you will also hear speak of the dragon twins. Hethra is the oak dragon, or Hethra, I don't know how you pronounce it. And so this is the dragon of summer, and this is his sister Hala, is the holy dragon of winter. I love that idea. That's why I really like the back of the cards. And of course you can see they are reversible if that is important for you. And yeah, there we go. And just a quick look in the guidebook. We will have a closer look later. So you can see we have a short description or a short meaning and then a reversed meaning. And then we also have a few spreads. He describes here the way beware. That is something that you meet early in the book. Then we have this spread. This is really cool. I like that. Earth and Sunder spread. We will see that in detail later. Then we have the Dark Raven spread with 3 cards. And then the 4 seasons spread. So, for example, spring is telling you how to make ready. Then summer, the action you must take. Autumn, the potential bounty of your plans. And north is telling you, or winter is telling you what values you might need to be patient with during your undertaking. There we go, and that's it. So it's a shorter guidebook. Now, if you have to, as he says or mentioned in his guidebook, you don't need to read the story to work with it, he describes definitely the situation of what you see, the character of what you will see in the card. You get a bit of an idea where he is coming from. Yeah, and that you have to choose for yourself if you need to read the book. Maybe you have read the book already and you're not aware that there's an oracle out. I don't know. Like I said, I came pretty much at the same time. I saw the book and then I googled it. That's what you do, right? And so I came pretty much immediately to the oracle, and then I started reading the book, see if I like it or not, and then I had a look at the oracle itself, and I'm really impressed by the artwork, but we will see that now, okay? as you could see, there are no numbers on the card and they are in alphabetical order, and there are 44 cards in case you wonder. And like I said, I find you get the message instantly of this deck, but I kept two cards aside that I wanted to show you and talk just shortly about them. Here we have Oak and Yours. So when I looked this oracle up online, I couldn't find all the images, and I didn't really look for a review on YouTube. I don't know if there is one. I think there was one, but I didn't want to see all the cards, so I looked up just a few images to see what the artwork is. And this is one of the cards I saw, and there I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it, no questions anymore. So after I saw this card, I was like, yeah. And another card that I want to show you is, for example, this one, Mistakes Teach Us. And why I want to show you is because I want you to know that in the guidebook with the meaning and the reversed meaning, there are a few differences, and maybe this is interesting for you. So I'm going to read you this out of the guidebook in case you are interested. As one of the Wildwood senior witches, Lana Zuri watches the coven's youngest learn to mount and fly a lightning staff. The inexperienced witches will fall many times and likely earn plenty of bruises, but mistakes are good. Without mistakes, we would not progress. Each time a young witch falls, Lana resists the urge to fuss over them, knowing they have to take a few knocks in order to find independence. The same is true for our own loved ones. Our dreams, plans and hopes for them have to be robust enough to take a few hits. Otherwise, when a really strong gust comes along, they be ill prepared. Now, and for the reversed meaning, Lana's green clothes are symbolic of spring. The snowdrops, down here, are awakening from their winter sleep. There is a creative urge in you that is longing to grow and break free. Whatever the season, imagine it is always spring and let your creativity bloom. Which is, of course, a little bit of a different message. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that still, but you know, I think you should always consider those both meaning when reading. And of course, it definitely encourages you to look at the picture and go from the artwork. And that is something that I highly appreciate. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a spread out of the book here, out of the guidebook. Oh, that's the same. Why do I just realize that now? However, I'm gonna do a spread out of the guidebook, a little sample reading. Yeah, let's just go into that. Now, here is the spread that I chose from the guidebook, Earth and Sunder spread. Here you can see the tree. So the first three cards up here, those cards, you choose them yourself, and so you go through the deck and see what speaks to you, and you should look out for cards that shall represent your spiritual destination, where you want to go. And then the other four cards, so those three cards down here, are what you need to prepare to get up there. And for this, you don't look at the cards, but you draw the cards as you would usually. And the card in the middle is the most important value to remember on your path. That's the Earth and Sunder spread. I wanted to show that to you. It's a bit far away. As I mentioned, the cards are quite big, so you need a bit of room. So I bring the first three cards a bit closer. So I try not to go too much in detail, as always with the sample readings for a review. So what I chose for this, for my spiritual destination, for example, is Strength Renewed, Walk with Wings and Wild at Heart. So strength renewed doesn't need a lot of explanation, I guess. So after a time of rest, finding back to my strength and being able to find a better balance also in my life. So enjoying, and also this card represents to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. Then walk with wings is not being afraid to fall anymore. Trust in my own abilities, but also being able to carry other in case of need. Now I feel like I'm very dependent on other at this time, and so my goal is to be again able to trust that my own wings are wide and strong enough to lift a loved one up whenever they need support. And then with the card Wild of Heart, this is something that I always strive for, so embracing my wild and untamed side, finding comfort again in secluded and harsh environments by actively seeking the beauty in those harsher environments, and also knowing that I can create this beauty myself, accepting that I will never fit fully in wherever I go and actually not, feeling empowered by this. So that's what I chose. Now the cards I got, let's go to them now. So those are the 3 cards that describe the preparations I need to take to get there. And the first card here is Independence. Now, to give you a bit of an idea of the guidebook, how it sounds, I will read what is written in the guidebook. So for the first card here. Tiber takes a rest from chopping wood to greet a distant relative. His rustic lifestyle demands a high degree of independence, and he's prudently stored away all he'll need for winter. It's reassuring to know we can rely on others, but often we have to stand on our own 2 feet, like Tiber, even if it's just to prove we can. There's great satisfaction in doing things yourself, so now is the time to take command of all those small details in your life. Keep track of them too, as good organization is a cornerstone of empowerment. Now, the interpretation for me, myself, now I try to go through that quickly. So I explained that I want to be more independent again, because at the moment I'm really not. And of course, then you get the card Independence, right? Which is that fun? And for me, it just means that I probably can do much more than I want, even if it takes great effort. So when you're a bit like me in this moment, not being able to walk and not being able to do the stuff you usually do, there comes a point, in my case, for example, where, for example, my husband does a lot of things for me that I could actually do myself. So insisting a little bit more on doing those things myself, even if it means much more work for me and it takes much more effort, because this will definitely give me a greater satisfaction than the other way around. Now, the next card is Spread Your Wings, which then has definitely a connection with the card that I chose with Walk with Wings. Now again, for the guidebook here, you can see, sorry, I needed to be closer. So I'm not going to read everything, but so the great ocean bird is an epic wanderer and has circled the globe countless times. Along the way, he has seen many things, some terrible, others sublime, but his core values remain unchanged. Like the great ocean bird, we should be open to new experiences, understanding that they don't threaten who we think we are or challenge what we hold important. Instead, experiencing something that might have mystified or frightened us previously deflates those fears and suspicions, or better still, provides new enjoyment and understanding. And in the reversed meaning, I'm going to read that as well for this card. Morak, so the girl here, feet are planted firmly on the rocky ground. She has roots that she's proud of and takes strength from. She might leave those roots from time to time, but knows they will always remain to welcome her back again. She doesn't feel the need to remain fixed in time or space or even within a mindset. Now, this is always an important thing, and especially for me at this time on my spiritual journey, not being afraid to go away, leave old belief systems behind, definitely spreading my wings to explore more. So, in this case, the message is really clear. I got a lot of cards over the last months that advised me, to go within and to surrender for a while, and then it's really time for something new is coming in my life, and I have to actively seek it. But as I say, I don't go too much into detail. This is just for showing you the guidebook, what is in there, so we leave it at that. And then the third card from this position is commitments. So I read again from the guidebook. Foreseeing the inevitable for Britain's wolves, a Calodian coven took the last of them and hid them safely away in rock and wood. They can only become flesh and blood once more when their protectors come to awaken them. Wolves are hidden throughout the picture, and young Kelly Sweet, this is Kelly Sweet, is entrusted with their hiding places. Her responsibility is as great as the mountain looming over her. And she has commitment in equal measure, for a witch knows that a promise is not made lightly, nor is it ever broken. Assess your commitments and accept only that which you can manage. And in the reversed meaning, it says, if Kelly fails to awaken the wolves periodically, they will remain as inert as stone. Just as life and love stagnate and become mere relics if we do not nurture them. Is there anyone or any promise in your life that needs to be reawakened? And then with the last card is the most important value. So let's zoom in. And here we have unity. I love that card. And this is landlord. And the unity card in the guidebook says, notice how all animals and plants stream from him, both male and female. He also fuses animal and human into a mystical being known as a therianthrope. Do I say that right? He is reminding you that all life is interconnected, that we all comprise the same matter which is constantly recycled by life and death. Other forms of life are no lesser or greater than us, only different aspects of the whole. Landlord is encouraging you to share this world, not dominate it. I think this is definitely a good message. And in the reverse meaning it says, a stag lost in the forest would easily entangle its antlers in the branches. Something in your life is gnarling you. But brute force won't set you free without doing damage to yourself and others. Stop, consider, and carefully and gradually negotiate the obstructions in your path. Now, for me, I have to say, when I read through the guidebook, I think the reversed meaning is just as important as the upright meaning, regardless of how your card turns up, because it has sometimes a little bit of a different message. In some cards it's really different, so I would always go with if you read with the guidebook, if you just read intuitively, then it doesn't matter, right? But if you work with the guidebook and if you read through it, I would always read the reversed message as well, because there is definitely a message for you in there too. There we go. So I really think this is such a beautiful and wonderful deck, and I really like the book. So maybe that is something that you are interested in to read the book and have the oracle. For the witchy community, it would definitely be an interesting book to read if that is something you're interested in. And I hope this review was helpful to show you the card images and to give you a bit of an idea from the guidebook. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a wonderful day. Much love and many blessings, and bye-bye.